Where's oil?
Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Gio, and in case you guys haven't been following along, I have a 2005 BMW E46, and I hate to say this, but she's seen better days. So a little backstory, about a week and a half ago, I actually took a road trip from LA all the way down to Palm Springs to visit one of my buddies. And for those of you guys who don't know, that's about 300 miles round trip, and the entire time my car was perfectly fine. I had just replaced my expansion tank a couple weeks before, and so I was really ready for this road trip. It was running all smooth, everything was perfect until on my way back, I noticed it was running a little rough, and so I turned off the car and restarted it perfectly fine, right? I drive back home, takes like 2.5 hours, whatever. And then a couple days later, I go up north a little bit to visit my girlfriend, right? I go to her house, and by this time the weather's a little colder outside, and again, my car was idling really rough, and I was like, oh, I think it has something to do with the temperature, because my car gets all funky whenever the temperature drops a little, right? And so, turn off the car, restart it, it's working okay. When I'm leaving her house, same thing happens, only this time, it's not stopping. Like, I'm stopping the car, restarting it, and it's still idling rough. And to me, it sounded like it was misfiring, it felt like it was misfiring. The car was shaking, and I got kind of scared. I started driving, and once the engine warmed up, it was fine. Like, it was smooth again, and everything was okay. Then I parked it for a couple days. So maybe 4 days passed that I haven't driven my car after seeing my girlfriend, and I turned it on, and let me show you guys right now what it does. So I don't know if you guys can hear, it's running pretty rough. It had all that white smoke, and that's not even as bad as it's been before. I'll show you guys a clip a couple days ago. What I'm really worried about is how rich it seems to be running. The car starts backfiring when it's idling. And then I don't know if this is water or gas coming out of the exhaust, but got a big puddle forming under there. So that's the problem I'm hoping on fixing today. If you guys have any similar problems or have solved this problem, please let me know in the comments down below. But I'm gonna try my own stuff today. So keep your fingers crossed for me, because guys, the E46 honestly has been my dream car since I was 12 years old, and I saw it in Forza Horizon 2. And then last thing, even worse, a couple days ago when I was looking at it, it was misfiring on cylinders 2 and 6. So I'm gonna quickly write down all the symptoms it's had, and so you guys can try to help me and think what the problem could be. So obviously, addressing the elephant in the room, we got white smoke. Now, what could it be? It could be oil, it could be coolant, or it could be water. Now, it doesn't smell like coolant at all, so we know it's not coolant. It could still be oil or water. It kind of does smell like oil, and it stays in the air for a long time. That kind of lets us know that oil is definitely present in the smoke. Now, I think it's also made up of water vapor though, because it doesn't stay in the air for a very, very long time. It kind of dissipates after a little bit. And when you touch it and when you smell it, it doesn't smell 100% like oil. Now, we also know I had a misfire on cylinders 2 and 6. So what could cause a misfire? We need spark, fuel, air. Now, fuel, it can't be. Everything's working fine. I checked it the other day. All my injectors, everything's working perfectly, and that doesn't seem like the problem. because we definitely have fuel coming out of the exhaust. It's running rich, so there's definitely fuel there. Now, what could cause the misfire? We got spark and air, right? Now, I opened up my spark plugs the other day, and I'll do it again on camera. They have a lot of carbon buildup, so that kind of leaves us with spark, but also, if the MAF sensor isn't sensing correctly the air temperature, it could be forcing more fuel into the combustion chamber, making the car run rich, which explains why the car is running rich and fuel is coming out the back, and also why we could have a misfire. So how are we going to test for this? I'm going to use my OBD2, check what the MAF sensor is reading in degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm also going to go back to the spark plugs, take each one out, and we're going to clean them all, because I've never replaced the spark plugs in the 1 year that I've owned this car. I've put about 12,000 miles on the car. I've never replaced them, so I don't know when the last time the previous owner changed the spark plugs. That could also very well be a reason we're misfiring. So as you guys can see, I've already taken off the beauty cover on my valve cover, and I've been playing with the spark plugs and the coil packs. I'll get them out so that you guys can see exactly what I've been looking at for the past couple days. Get the water out of here quickly. So as you guys can see, I got some oil staining around this ignition coil because I have a valve cover leak, valve cover gasket leak, so that's what that is. So if you guys check this out, we got a lot of carbon up there, a lot of oil. So that doesn't look amazing. This is cylinder 1. I'm going to take it out, I'm going to clean it. So let's just get the rest out. And what's strange is cylinders 2 and 6 that were misfiring are the only ones with these different ignition coils. And these are Bosch, but the rest look to be OEM BMW. This isn't too good. Cylinder 2's got a lot of oil in it. I'll show you that in a minute. Cylinder 5 has carbon, a lot of carbon, I think. That's carbon around the threads, so that's interesting. Cylinder 6 has a lot of water on it, and it has a bit of buildup around the threads, just like cylinder 5. Okay guys, so here we have cylinder 1, spark plug from cylinder 1. I've got it with the light here. If you guys see, we got a lot of carbon up in there. Doesn't look too good, but cylinder 2, even worse. I don't know if you guys see that right there. There is oil right on the contact point of that spark plug, right at the top. Looks like a mix of oil and carbon buildup, so that's not good. Cylinder 3, same type of thing. This one does not have as much oil as cylinder 2, so that's good. I mean, these spark plugs look old. Cylinder 4 right here. You guys check this out. Cylinder 4 looks similar to cylinder 3, not too bad. Now cylinder 5 here. This one's kind of interesting. Cylinder 5, it looks pretty dry, right? Not even as much oil as cylinder 4 here, but around the base of the spark plug, there's all this powdery, I'm assuming that's carbon buildup. You can see it's like, yeah, there we go. We got a little clump of it there on my thumb, dude. You can see that, pretty nasty. I don't know what that is. Definitely needs to be cleaned up. And then cylinder 6 here. I'm gonna try to get the camera a little bit closer. But as you can see, this cylinder had moisture in it. There is water in here. which kind of scares me, because if coolant or water is getting into the combustion chamber and wetting this spark plug, that could be a sign that my head gasket's bad. But when I open up the oil cap, I don't see any froth in there, and the exhaust does not smell like coolant. Giving them a good clean, even here at the ceramic bit. If you guys can see this, inside of these threads, there's like buildup. I'm assuming that's more carbon. I've got some steel wool. I couldn't find a toothbrush, so we're just gonna go with the steel wool, try to clean this area up a little bit. I'm starting to see silver under where all that carbon buildup was. So hopefully this could do the trick. So if you guys remember, cylinder 1 and all the other spark plugs actually had black contacts right there, but as you can see, some steel wool clean that all up, and now I'm just going to do the rest of the spark plugs the same way. Alright, there we are. All of them have shiny tops now. Even cylinder 6, I don't know, you can't see it. There you go. So I'm going to put these back in the car and see how they do. Okay, engine's cold again, and I'm gonna try starting it. Even worse. Look at this, we got white smoke going all the way down my driveway. Okay, obviously that was worse than before, so here's my next idea. I installed this K&N cold air intake about a year ago, and what I'm thinking is oil from the actual filter may have gotten onto the MAF sensor, and it's causing the MAF sensor to read incorrectly and therefore make the engine run rich. So let's get my OBD out and just see what the MAF is actually reading. So I have this AutoFix 3910 OBD scanner that the brand AutoFix sent to me, and let's see what my MAF is reading. So the data stream is the live numbers from the OBD. This should tell us what the MAF sensor thinks the temperature outside is. Intake air temperature, it says it's 14 degrees Celsius, and today in Glendale it's 9 degrees. So it's off, but it's not off by much. I don't really think that's what's causing the problem, unfortunately. I'm gonna really quickly also scan to see if there's any pending codes like misfires or anything. So let's turn the car back on. Yeah, it's idling really roughly. More smoke out the back. The car's shaking a lot. Feels like it's misfiring. It sounds like a Harley Davidson. I don't know if you guys can see this. My door is shaking. This whole thing is shaking a lot. Yeah. Cylinder 6 and cylinder 2 misfiring. Those are pending, so I'm gonna turn it off. I'm still misfiring. So that tells us that it's not the spark plugs which are the problems. Really quickly, I'm gonna try one last thing. I don't think it's the ignition coils, but I'm gonna again switch cylinders 1 and 2 to see if it's still misfiring, but I'm sure it will because I don't think the ignition coils are the problem. If this is the head gasket, guys, I'm screwed. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Ignition coils are switched. Let's start it again. There's still white smoke. It's not the ignition coils, as I assumed. Did you guys hear that noise? I just heard a really metallic noise come out of this. And all that smoke is just oil from my valve cover burning off. I don't know what to do, guys. So I just heard a metallic knocking sound come out of the engine of this car. Stay tuned, guys.